So again, Beya b'shishim, an egg in 60, ve'ein beya min aminyan. And we don't count the egg itself. You need 60 besides the egg. Says the Gemara, that a pelican egg, an ostrich egg, gives off a taste, exudes a taste. There's a popular saying, it's like egg juice, which just doesn't taste like anything. Amalei says the Gemara, we're talking about an egg that already formed a chick inside it. Now, once it formed a chick inside, it's asur even if it's a kosher egg, because the chick needs shchita, and that exudes taste. So then, why does it say egg of a tmeya? Says the Gemara, "Aval tmeya lay." But if it would be just a pelican egg without it having formed a creature inside, it would be not forbidden. So the Gemara says, "Eisvei beim tahirish shisholkanim beim tmeyis tardika eggs that you steeped, you boiled together with tamidika eggs. Im yesh ben benaisin tam. If there's enough to impart a flavor, then kulon asurus. All the eggs are asur. So here it says beim tmeyis. Says the Gemara, no. When it says beim tmeyis, it means a egg that the chick already formed, even if it's a kosher egg. Hachanami bebeis efrayach. So why is it called tmeis? By my korila tmeya, because kevan the isba efrayach, since it already had a chick formed in it without shchita, korila tmeya. It's forbidden. Says the Gemara, v'hamadik tani seifa beim shesholkan, an egg that you boiled, v'nimtza efrayach v'achas mem, and you found a chick formed in one of them, im yesh ben b'nais tam. If that egg has enough to impart flavor, kulun asurus. So that implies that the reisha is talking about where it didn't have a chick. Michlal the reisha the less by efrayach haskina. So you see, even though it tamid egg, a pelican egg, an ostrich egg, right, it exudes a flavor. It says the Gemara, no. Perushe kamafarish. It's being explanatory. Beim toiros shesholkim in beim tameis. If im yesh ben b'neisim tam, that you steep in beim tameis, if there's nice and tam kulon asurus, what does it mean beim tameis? Keitzad kegon shesholkan, where you boil them in imtza frayach ba'achas mem. And the Gemara says it makes sense that it's a perusha kamafarish, that it's explanatory. Because if it's not, and it's talking two cases, if the reisha is talking about without a chick, if it's also even without a chick, it's surely also with a chick that doesn't have shchita. Hachanami mistava, that it's explanatory. Diesel kedai the reisha the less by frayach, that the reisha is talking about where there's no chick. Hashda the less by frayach asur. If it's also even without a chick, there is by frayach. There's a chick inside mibai. Says, well, okay. Lamai says the pshat is the way we said that it's perusha kamafarish. It's explanatory, but you cannot bring me a proof that otherwise it would be redundant, because imishum ha, because of saying, well, if the reisha is where it doesn't have a chick, then would it have to say where it is a chick? Hala area. That would not be a proof, because tani seifa ligluye reisha. The seifa would come to reveal what the reisha is talking about. Shaloi time reisha is only the isba frayach where there is a chick. Aval isba frayach sharia. So therefore, tana seifa the isba frayach, which proves that the reisha is talking about where there is no chick. Mechlal the reisha the lesba frayach vafilu achias. But that isn't the pshat. The bottom line is because of what people say that beya tmeya is maya ba'alma. It doesn't have any flavor. It's only if it forms a chick. Once it forms a chick, both whether it's a tamidik egg or a kosher egg without shchita, it's the same thing. It asks if it's benais and tam. Now, let me welcome in such an auspicious crowd as we have Saba and Leiby Vego and Dr. Block and Yaakov Warman, A.B. Spry, Baruch Ian, Rebellia Yafi, Irving Fishbaum, Yitzi Fuchs, and in Shul, holding the fort, we have Berish Gesseman and Ruvain Shannon, and Mark Shafel and Dr. Guy, Mel Zachter, Ruvain Pollack, Nachman Chapler. Oh, Shalom Fogel is back. We really missed you, Shalom. It's great to have you back. Shelley Zeitlin, Gedalia Engel, Eddie Chazan, Naftali Jablin, Moshe Lehman, Stephen Holtzman, Yitzi Muller, Nachman Chapler, Menachem Mansky, Shimon Klein, Daniel Rosenberg, Ilya Shutman, Danny Vogel, David Helfgott, Iran. Nice to have a crowd. I wonder where we're missing Marshall, we're missing Mark, we're missing Mo Kushner hasn't been here. I hope he's well. Okay. So now, says the Gemara, Hahu Kazaysa Tarba, there was a kazayas of forbidden fat. Now that's fat that's an Issachorus, like the fat on the flank, the fat on the innards, the fat on the kidneys. Denofel bidikula de bisra. It fell into a pot of kosher meat. So we know we have to be mevatel at beshishin. So Savar Rav Ashi, that's the correct year. So Savar Rav Ashi l'shi'urei, he wanted to calculate the heter b'may de bola dikula. Besides all the meat and the soup and the sediment, he also wanted to count what was the heter that was in the inside of the pot. The Rabban said to Rav Ashi, you can't count the contents of the pot. It only was bala heter, the isur loy bala, it wasn't bala the fat, so you can't count the contents of the wall of the pot. How palga de zeisa de tarba, a half a kazayas of fat. Now remember, the chorus is only for a kazayas, because it says achila. And achila is only with the size of an olive. What happened over here is a half a kazayas of fat fell into nafal b'dikula de bis, fell into a pot of meat. Savar mar baravashi l'sheurei betlosim palga dezeisa. He wanted to say, since it's only a half a kazayas, he thought it was only derabanan, therefore, and by derabanan maybe it's enough to be mevatel b'shloishim. Maybe you don't need shishim. Amalei avua. So his father told him, Lava minalach, didn't I tell you like to zalzel b'shurim d'rabanan? Don't be lenient by something that's rabbinical. To the contrary, many times we're more machmir by rabbanan that people shouldn't say, oh, it's only a d'rabanan. And furthermore, this is not a d'rabanan. Hamer Reb Yochanan chatzi shir asim in atayra, chatzi kazayis asim in atayra, just no chorus, but it's still biblically prohibited. Now look, we call Gemara tradition. Look how careful Jews all over the world today, all over the world, will be learning several lines of just names. Because that's Gemara means the tradition, and it's so accurately handed down and so precisely. Amar Rav Shama bar Abba, Amar Rav Idi bar Gershom. Rav Shama bar Abba said in the name of Idi, the son of Idi, the son of Gershom. Now, whenever we go 2 generations, that means that there's 2 Rav Idi bar Idis. So we have to say it's Rav Idi bar Gershom. Amar Levi bar Parta, Levi son of Parta. Amar Rabbi Nachim. Amar Rabbi Biraya Mishum Zokein Echad, in the name of a certain elder of Rabbi Yaakov Shmei. We're not finished yet. The Bein Nasiya Amru, the house of the Nasi, said, Beya B'shishim Asura, if the egg is mixed with 60, it's Asur. B'shishim V'achas, with 61, Muteris. Now the simple meaning of this is that if you have 60 with the prohibited egg, it's awesome. You need to have 61, so you have 60 plus the prohibited egg. However, we're going to see that that's not the only pshat. There's another pshat. And the other pshat is that there's another pshat that 60 is not good even without the usher egg. Because maybe the usher egg is big, and therefore you need to have 61. So, Amar Reb Zeir Rav Shamba Amar Re'eh, by you saying it's simple, She'ata matal b'gvul heter, You're assuming a lenient pshat that Shnei Gedolei Dar weren't sure about. Shari Shnei Gedolei Adar loy pirshu es hadavar. Two Gedolei Adar didn't explain it. Rabbi Yaakov Baridi, Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmani, two great men, Rabbi Yaakov Baridi, Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmani, Travayim Mishmeid, Rabbi Shub and Levi, Imre, Bayim B'shisham Asura, an egg that's asur, has a chick, in 60 is asur, B'shisham Achas Muteris, and they're not sure when it says 61, V'iboyelu, B'shisham V'achas, does that mean Bahadei Dida, with the bad egg, so it's enough 60, besides the bad egg, you still need 61. Because the bad egg might be bigger, and 60 smaller eggs would not be Mavatal B'shishim. V'loy Pashit, and he didn't resolve it. Umar Pashit Lamivshin, and you said it like it's a simple thing, that 61 with the egg is already good. And indeed, the Gemara tells us categorically now, Itmar Amar Rabbi Chelba Amar Rav Huna, Beyim B'shishim V'hi Asura. If it's 60 and the forbidden egg, it's still not good. If it's 61 and the forbidden egg, then mutaris. Now, we welcome him, Gabriel Epstein. I notice we had a 30-second person creep in on us. Now, think I'm not watching? I even see when Eddie turns to pick up the phone. Says the Gemara, he shuts off his camera. Eddie's back. See, Eddie can't go a 45 minutes without doing something, some skullduggery.
Rabbi?
Yes.
What's the makar for Chatzi Shir?
What is the makar for Chatzi Shir? The Torah mentions Yisurim. Then when it says a lav, it says achila. So that means that there's malchus by a shir achila. But the isser is there even without the shir achila. Now, Hahuda asal l'kamid Rav Gamliel Barebi. Shishim 60 times was developed later, this number. Initially they went with lower numbers. So a man came before Rabbi Gamliel Bar Rebbe, Amalei, and he came and there was 45 times as much heter. Amalei, so he said, Abba, my father Rebbe, lo shir ba'arbam v'sheva, would not permit 47. V'ani ashar ba'arbam v'chamish, you want me to permit 45? How does it come in Reb Shimon Bar Rebbe? He had 43 of heter. Amalei Abaloi Shir b'mem. Hey, my father wouldn't permit 45. Ani Ashar b'mem Gimel. I should permit 43. How does it come in Reb Chia? Somebody came with a mixture. Amalei said, no, this mixture can't be permitted. Klum yesh shloishim. Is there even 30 times of heter? So the Gemara is surprised. Does that mean that he held if there was 30, it's okay? Time of the lekah shloishim, if there's no 30, ha'ikah shloishim misharon, that would be okay? Says the Gemara, no, he was exaggerating. Amar Reb Chanina Guzma, he said, it's 60, it's not even 30. But you do need 60. Now, Amar Reb Chia bar Abba, Amar Reb Shimon Levi Mishum bar Kapara, Kol Yisurim sheb'Torah b'Shishim. All Yisurim in the Torah can be neutralized with 60 times of heter. Amalav, fun of Reb Shmuel bar Rabbi Yitzchak, Rebbe Ata Aymer Kain. Do you say 60 is enough? Hachi Amar Rav Asi Amar Rabbi Shimon Levi Mishum Kapara bar Kapara. In the name of Kapara, Kol Yisurim sheb'Torah b'Meya. You need 100 times of heter. And they both learn it out from the right foreleg of the ram of the Nazir. This is a very fascinating thing. It's part of the procedure of the Karbonis when a person finishes his term of Naziris. It says, let's say Shelley says, Hari Alai Nazir. Stam Naziris is 30 days. Afterwards, he has to bring 3 korbanos: an oila, a shlamim, and a chatas. And from the ayil, from the ram, from the shlamim, he has to give the right foreleg to the kohen. That's a special portion for the kohen. But look what it says. Ushneim lo ylamdua ela mizraya b'sheila. They learn the din of bittul, whether it's 60 or 100, from the right foreleg of the ram of the nazir that goes to the kohen. Dichsiv, v'lokach ha-kohen es hazraya b'sheila. And the kohen takes the foreleg that was cooked. V'tanya, I'm going to get an example of Rashi's Anivus over here. V'tanya, b'sheila, ein b'sheila ela shleima. That you give it to the kohen whole. You can't cut it up. Now Rashi says over here, lo nisparish be'ezel loshen. I don't know in what language shleima means that you can't cut it up. He says, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know in what language b'sheila means shleima. He says, I don't know. Remember, I told you if I was writing a pirush, so I don't know. I won't write anything. But Rashi is worried we won't be able to go weiter. We're not going to be able to figure out pshat. We're going to spend half a night trying to figure it out. So Rashi says, look, don't worry. I didn't know either. I didn't know. That's Rashi's Anivus. You know, Rav Wolfson pointed out, it's such an incredible departure of Rashi. He doesn't even make it, I always say that Rashi, there's no harsh word in Rashi. That's why Rashi is in every chumash that's printed. Nobody ever had a tain on Rashi. But there is a Rashi in Shas where Rashi says that Truma cannot be redeemed. You can't remove the status of Truma. Ma'aser Sheni you could redeem. You can't redeem Truma. And Rashi makes the incredible statement, and anybody who says that you can is a Rasha. Whoa! That doesn't sound like Rashi. Anybody who says that you could redeem Truma is a Rasha. It's like so out of character, Rashi. So Rav Wolfson said a beautiful pshat. He says Klal Yisrael is called Reishis Tvuasa. It's the first Rashi in the Chumash. Bereishis Yisrael shenikra Reishis Tvuasa. We're considered like Hashem, the first of Hashem's crop. The first of the crop is Truma. Just like nobody will ever be exchanged for Klal Yisrael, like Truma that you can't redeem. Now we know that there are people that say they're the new Israel. So therefore Rashi says if anybody says Truma could be redeemed, he's a Rasha. Because Klal Yisrael says can't be exchanged. There's no nation taking over for Klal Yisrael. What a beautiful pshat in Rashi. Anyway, so it says the first pshat of Zroya B'Sheila is Ein B'Shleila Ela Shlema. So Taisus brings down over here, if you look at the top Taisus says Pirish B'Kuntris Deloy Nisparish Be'ezer Loshen. So Taisus says maybe you could take apart the word B'Sheila to be read B'Shel Lo. In other words, the whole piece. Okay. Rab Shimon ben Yochai Ein B'Sheila Ela Shenizbash Ima Ayil. When you cook the ram, you could cook the right foreleg together with the ram. The Kule Alma, according to both Pshatim, just a question if you could cut it before or not, but the Kule Alma Ba'adi Ayil Mavashla, you cook it together. Now, since the Zoya B'Shela is only permitted to a Kayin, and yet you cook it together, that means that there's enough in the rest of the Ayil to be mevatel the absorption of the Zoya B'Shela. You could cut it and then cook it together. You cook it and then you cut it. The Iba Yisema, the Kuli Alma Mechatach Labad Mavashla. Everybody says you cut the Zoya B'Shela and then you cook it. You cook it together in the same pot. The kayin stuff you cook for the kayin. At least 3 of the 4 opinions hold that you could cook it together with the Zoya B'Shela, and even though you're not allowed to a regular Yisrael, like Yitzi Fuchs, Yitzi Fuchs is a kayin, a regular Yisrael like Nachman, and he's not so regular. A regular Yitzimah says Rashi is in Sukkah. Very good. A regular Yisrael can't eat the Zoya B'Shela, yet he could eat the rest, even though it absorbed from it. So the Gemara says L'lish Nekama. According to the first version, Aliba Divrei Kol, it's cooked together according to everybody. L'lish Nekama at least Aliba Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Mandama b'shishim, the one that says 60-1, Sava basar atzamas, bahadei basar atzamas. We calculate the meat and the marrow bones of the right foreleg, and the meat and the marrow bones of the whole animal, and that's 60-1. Sharinan v'avalei b'shishim. Mandama b'meya, he holds we don't count the bones. Sava basar bahadei basar misharinan, and the meat of the right foreleg with the meat of the rest of the animal, the ratio is 100-1. V'avalei b'meya. Says Gemara, but could you learn out from Zoya B'Shela? As we'll see, Zoya B'Shela is a chiddush, because normally we're not mavatal issa l'chatchila. Bittul is only after the fact if it gets mixed in. Here we're telling you you're allowed to cook it together. When mavatal issa l'chatchila, that's a novelty, and we don't learn out usually from novelties. So the Gemara says, could we learn out 60 or 100 from the Zoya B'Shela? Vatanya zeu heter abba b'chlal iser. This is an exception of heter, which is something that's usually aser. Now, zeu lemute mai, what does it mean this? Lav lemute kol yisurim shebetorah, that other yisurim we don't learn out from here? Amar Abaye, no. The chiddush is that Zoya B'Shela is neutralized, and the rest of the ram is permitted, even though it's min b'minai. It's meat with meat. And Rabbi Yehuda holds min b'minai loy batal. Amar Abaye l'nitzchel Rabbi Yehuda dama min b'minai loy batal, that the same types are never neutralized. Kamash malan dahacha batal. That over here by the Zoya B'Shela, even though they're both meat, it does neutralize it. Says the Gemara, then v'ligma minai. Then why don't we learn out from here to kol ha'torah kula that min b'minai should be batal? Says the Gemara, well, no. We know remember on Yom Kippur, there's the blood of the bull that's brought into the Kodesh Kodashim, the blood of the goat, then both of them are put against the paroiches. Then afterwards we mix the blood of the bull and the blood of the goat, and we put it on the Mizbeach Hazav, on the golden altar. But the blood of the bull is much more than the blood of a goat. The bull is much bigger. And yet it's not neutralized. The blood of the goat doesn't lose its identity. So we learn out from there, min b'minai lo batal. Gali rachmanu v'lokach medam ha'por medam ha'sar. You take from the mixture of the blood of the par and the blood of the sar. Travayu b'hadei adadinu, they're both mixed up. The par is much more. V'lo batlei. So you see min b'minai lo batal. Says Gemara, so why do we learn out that min b'minai lo batal from Yom Kippur? Why don't we learn out min b'minai batal from Zoya B'Shela? Or my chazes digamrei mehaich. Why do we learn out from Yom Kippur ligmar mahai? Learn out from the Zoya B'Shela where there is bittul by min b'minai. So here's where the Gemara tells us chiddushu. The Zoya B'Shela is a chiddush because you're allowed to do it in the first instance, cooking the rest of it with the Zoya B'Shela. Normally, ein mevatlan issa l'chatchila. We only do it. We only say it in after effect. From a novelty, we don't learn out. Says Gemara, then how do we learn out 60 or 100? We shouldn't learn out for 60 or 100 either. Says Gemara, 60 or 100 is not a kula; it's a chumrah. Because midaraisa, you could be batal b'roiv. Could be batal with a rive. You don't need 60. Ato anan lekula gamrinan. Do we learn out of leniency? Lechumra gamrinan. A chumra we could even learn out from a novelty. Dimidoraisa, you don't need 60 or 100. Beruba batal, a simple majority is enough. Okay, another daf in the books. What is it, 308 to brachas? We're on our way. We're on our march to finishing Shas. Okay, now, Rabbi Isai, if you didn't remember, we have for the Shabbos table. Before we do the Mishnayos, we have the Shabbos table. Before anybody leaves, if you're thinking of leaving, oh, Mo Kushner is here, great. Before you leave, just want to let you know that I did do the Q&A on Irgun Shiurei Torah. You could see it on Torah anytime you look at Jewish Understanding, or you could find it on my YouTube channel, or you could listen to it on Kol HaLashon. I was told it is on Kol HaLashon. And now we're just going to reset our camera machinery.